From Mountain Home to Raft River, we've got all the District 4 analysis you'll need to know. This is the Magic Valley Prepcast with Scott Burton.
That's right. Welcome in. It is a Friday edition of the Magic Valley Prepcast on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, and X account. We do this live every Friday at 3:30 local time. You can, of course, watch this anytime on replay at those three destinations, or you can listen to the Magic Valley Prepcast at IdahoSports.com or wherever you download and subscribe to your podcasts. The Magic Valley Prepcast is brought to you by Ideal, Idaho College Savings Program. It's a state-sponsored, tax-advantaged savings plan that helps families pay for the cost of college. With the rising costs of college, developing a savings plan is the first and most important step in helping families finance a college education. An Ideal 529 account can be used towards higher education, a trade school, apprenticeship, or even student loan repayments. For more information, go to idsaves.org. Welcome into the Magic Valley Prepcast. My name is Brandon Baney. There is nobody on our nation's day of love that I would rather spend some time with than Cupid himself. It is Scott Burton. What's up, Scott?
Hey, what's going on? Happy Singles Awareness Day, Valentine's Day, with all of the things that they call it. That's why I'm Cupid, because I am just full of love. I spread the love, and that's me, Brandon.
Well, spreading the love and spreading yourself pretty thin these days as well, Scott. Last night, Jerome girls basketball had a district tournament game. Tonight, it's Jerome boys senior night, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as soon as we're finished here, I am up and at it again, trying to get senior night taken care of for our boys as Wood River comes to town to wrap up the regular season. So yeah, it is just crazy, crazy busy. And we had crazy amounts of snow and wind here yesterday. We had to cancel Minico and Jerome wrestling, but twin girls were able to come over because it was such a short drive. And that game almost didn't happen just because of the weather, which would have sent this entire district bracket into a tailspin. So I'm glad we got it done, but it doesn't stop. It's still busy.
Yes. Let me ask you just real quick, if that had happened, because the winner of the game last night between Jerome and Twin Falls, we'll get to it in a second, has to play a state play-in game Saturday. Let's say you couldn't play that district game until Saturday. Do you have to have a special petition to have the play-in game like Sunday or Monday? How does that work?
Well, what we would have tried to do, it would be play it today, if at all possible. But you wouldn't get that day of prep time for whatever. And it would just be off. Right. So we would have shot for today, play-in game on Saturday. And if some reason we have like a blizzard that lasts 3 days and we all get snowed in, then, we just hop online and we play NBA jams and we just see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, we will get to the district brackets here. I will say, what kind of a dummy athletic director schedules a senior night on Valentine's Day, but I digress.
Well, I tell you what, I am not the most popular person in the house right now.
Yeah. You'd be on the doghouse. That's where you're going to be at.
For sure. Yeah. I'm already there. So
yeah. Okay, well, we'll get to it. I got a bunch of snow outside. I got a shovel when we're done with this here. That's why I'm wearing all my baseball stuff. I want to be in a warmer place. So Here we go, Scott. District tournament updates. Pretty much the brackets are set. We're just going to whip through them real quick and then send you on your merry way. We already talked about the 6A bracket last week. Canyon Ridge had already gone 2-0, so we'll skip that. But for those that are curious, Rigby did defeat Madison for the district championship. Rigby and Madison both moving on to state. 5A. This is the interesting one, Scott, where Mountain Home beats Jerome in the district championship game. It appears that our bracket wizard didn't put the final score on there. It was fairly close, though. It was within
49-41.
Yeah, I was going to say within 8 or 9 points. Then you had kind of an upset. Twin Falls nips Burley, the 4 over the 3 in the loser out game, 45-41. That set up last night's true second place game between Jerome and Twin. Jerome gets the win, 49-38, and Jerome now advances to a state play-in game Saturday in Mountain Home, where you guys will take on the Emmett Huskies. That should be an interesting battle.
Yeah.
How much were you biting your nails when you saw Twin coming over last night?
You know, I knew that it would be a good time. It always is great when Twin and Jerome tangle. I was surprised that Twin went into Burley and knocked them off, because Burley, when we played them, they played really, really well. And in fact, they led most of that game. And they easily could have been the spoiler. Now, we talked about that Burley team, early on as potential spoiler to Mountain Home and Jerome, because those two were the clear cut, 1 and 2s. But that one surprised me. And then Twin came last night, and, that score is not indicative of how close that game was. Twin came out and they were battling, and it was back and forth, and Jerome would get a lead and Twin would come back, just like they did against Burley, who led against the Bruins most of that game. So it was kind of a tough fought game, but boy, anytime you can get a win and get a chance to go to a state tournament, man, you take it any way you can. And, they'll have their hands full with Emmett, but, if Jerome does what they should advance.
Emmett's got a standout Natalie Goslin. If you can contain her on the glass, I think Jerome's going to have a good chance to advance. I personally am projecting Jerome to advance to state. So, but
what's interesting about that too is, following the bracketology, that very well could be a Jerome Mountain Home first round game.
Yeah. Mountain Home keeps bouncing between number 3 and number 2. Middleton is the number 1 team in the coaches poll and the media poll. They're number 3 in max preps behind Pocatello, who's number 1, and Mountain Home jumped up to the number 2 spot. So that's just crazy. I don't see. I mean, Mountain Home's a fantastic team with a great coach, and they're good and they do things right. They've got some shooters. They can spread you out. They can post you up, but you want to talk about that 5A class, and we'll talk more about this on our state preview show, but Middleton and Pocatello are legit, and especially that Middleton team, 1 loss on the year, but their max preps 3. All right, whatever. We'll see what happens. A win on Saturday by Jerome is only going to strengthen Mountain Home's hold on that number 2 seed with strength of schedule. So that is going to be an interesting subplot for. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's move on to the 4A Scenic Idaho, the Sawtooth Central Idaho Conference. Kimberly wins the district title in pretty emphatic fashion, 59-33 over Gooding. Gooding played Filer earlier this week. Again, our bracket wizard not quite finishing the job there, Scott. I can tell you Gooding did defeat Filer to advance to state as well. So it's Kimberly and Gooding, the 1 and 2 seeds advancing to state. Gooding, I think, is probably going to be the number 8 seed overall. They were the lowest ranked max preps team coming in, but good on the Senators for getting to state. And of course, congrats to Kimberly, the district champs.
Yeah, no, Kimberly just kind of steamrolled this tournament with, a really good season and an unblemished conference record. They just dominated this conference. And, we've seen so many times that teams that, can dominate a conference, well, that conference better be good if you want to advance at the state tournament, because, we've seen teams come out of weak conferences and then just don't do well. I don't think this is the case. I think Gooding's got a pretty good squad. They putting the wraps on a pretty good year for them. 500 record, but you look at I don't know, Brandon, you look at that conference and there's a lot of average and below average. And I don't know how well that's going to serve Kimberly at the state tournament. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Kimberly is got some younger players that this will be kind of their first exposure on the state level. Kimberly right now, our bracketology, they would be the 5 seed, and they would have to play Timberlake, the number 4 seed, and Timberlake has to win their play-in game still, of course, but that's going to be a tough opponent right out of the gates in Timberlake. And then Gooding, hey, number 8 seed, congrats. You get the undefeated Sugar Salem Lady Diggers out of the gates, more than likely. So
wow. Yeah. Welcome to state. Here you go.
Yep. We'll see how that goes. So congratulations to both Kimberly and Gooding for advancing. One note too, and we'll talk about this more on Monday night, our girls basketball state tournament preview show. They flipped the bracket this year where the number 1 team is playing in the evening session. The past couple of years they've played to kind of tip off the tournament at noon. So I like the way they flipped that to give that number 1 seed the evening window, something they're more used to there. Okay. 3A, Scott, Southeast Idaho Conference. We talked about it last week. Malad and Soda Springs had already wrapped up the 2 auto bids to state. Malad did win that district championship game 54-42. The intrigue was going to come on the backside of the bracket with Wendell and Declo having to play each other in a knockout loser-out game. Wendell wins by a possession, 48-45. And then we talked about it in the regular season standings. Westside actually finished with a better conference record than Wendell did, but because Wendell didn't play a full 10 conference games like everybody else, they seeded it according to Max Preps. And so Wendell actually got the 3 seed over Westside, and that allowed them to host Westside in that 3rd place game. And I said that could be pivotal, and absolutely it was, because Wendell wins again by a possession, 42-40. So back-to-back 1 possession wins for Coach Tia Stanley and the Wendell Trojans. And now Wendell advances to a state play-in game. They will have to take on the runner-up from District 6, North Fremont. I think this is a coin toss game, and we could see Wendell at state potentially.
Yeah, no, for sure. And boy, you hit the nail on the head when we were talking about how that seeding worked, because, you know, they Wendell and Westside had played once before, and that one also was in Wendell back in early January, and it was a close game, but it was a Westside victory, 36-32. And so that just would tell you that if that game maybe was at Westside, we'd be talking about a whole different story here. But hey, that's the way it goes. Congratulations to Wendell, and now, you know, North Fremont. So let's see, you know, kind of how they do against the Huskies.
And I believe that game is going to be in Mountain Home as well on Saturday. That's part of the doubleheader. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Who's got the first game, Jerome or Wendell?
Well, we're going at 1:00. And I'm looking at kind of, and we've got listed 1:00 here too. So to be honest with you, I'm not sure what they're doing.
Let's see. I could have had that wrong. Oh, that's because Wendell and North Fremont are playing in American Falls.
Oh, American Falls. That's right. Why would they go to Mountain Home? It's the other direction. Yeah. So American Falls at 1:00. Okay, cool. That makes more sense. And okay. You know, and I think you're right. This is a toss-up. I think this is a game that Wendell can get. I mean, North Fremont, kind of battling right around that 500 mark on the year in a okay conference. Ryrie's there. Ryrie's a good team, but again, after that, it's a lot of 500 ball. I think Wendell's got a shot here.
Yeah, North Fremont 12-13. They upset Firth, the number 2 seed. This was a game we expected Firth to be in. North Fremont nipped them and advances. So that'll be an interesting state play-in game tomorrow. 2A, Scott, the Snake River Conference. Oakley defeats Valley in a runaway 59-31 to win the district title. Congratulations to the Hornets. They'll go into state as the number 1 overall seed. And now you've got this really interesting rubber match on the back half here, Valley and Raft River. This game was supposed to be in Jerome, but your Jerome Lady Tigers were hosting their own do-or-die elimination game, so they moved it to Murtaugh, and then the bad weather postponed it another day. They're going to play this tomorrow, 2 p.m. in Murtaugh. Valley and Raft River. Who wins the rubber match here, Scott?
Ooh, boy. I don't know. This was a game that you would kind of circle on your calendar a little bit in a district tournament. We talked about this too, about, you know, how maybe, gosh, there's going to be a good team left behind here. And, you know, Oakley has been so good all season long, and that's not surprising. But, man, you get into this rest of this conference. Valley, Raft River, clear cut 2 and 3, but Oakley dominated this conference, absolutely dominated this conference. And I hate to see either one of those two get left behind, but I don't know. Hard to say, man. Hard to say. Valley got him last time around, and Valley got him the time before that.
Yes, Raft River won the first matchup this year by 4, 54-50. Then Valley won the rematch in the regular season in a blowout, 72-50, just a bad night for the Trojans. Then they met in the district semis. You see it there on the bracket, a 7-point win for Valley, 59-52. It's so hard to beat the same team so many times, but we shall see. Oakley's going to be the number 1 seed at state, according to our bracketology. Right now, Valley or Raft River, I think either one would be the number 4 seed and probably having to play Lapway out of the gates. So that's going to be an interesting first round matchup for whoever survives. We'll keep an eye on that game tomorrow in Murtaugh. And then, Scott, we wrap up with the 1A Sawtooth Conference. I asked you if Jerome's playing the first game of the doubleheader in Mountain Home tomorrow. Who's playing the second game? The Cary Panthers are. This is going to be a really fun state play-in game. Cary is going to take on Tri-Valley in a 1A state tournament play-in game right after Jerome is done battling Emmett tomorrow in Mountain Home. Cary came into districts as the number 1 seed. They and Dietrich beat each other in the regular season. They split. Cary won the tie-breaking criteria. Dietrich was pretty motivated. They beat Cary 42-24, almost doubling them up in the district championship. So Dietrich and Coach Charlie Bingham advancing to state, and now Cary, they beat Richfield in the 3rd place game pretty easily, 41-24. And now you've got Cary playing a Tri-Valley team that was the regular season conference champ from District 3. Well, they lost to Salmon River in their district championship game. So this is another one of these games between Cary and Tri-Valley where both teams deserve to be at state. Only one gets to go, though.
Yeah, and they have got their hands full. This is a really good Tri-Valley team. 18-5 on the regular season, undefeated in conference play. And they're mixed in there with the likes of Salmon River and Garden Valley, who are all above 500 in that conference. And boy, if you're Cary, it's like, oh, really? We got to play Tri-Valley? They're going to have their hands full.
If Cary advances to state, Scott, our bracketology says they would be the number 2 overall seed. And so for Cary, looking down the barrel of potentially the number 2 overall seed not getting to state, boy, that'd be a tough pill to swallow for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, absolutely. And we've seen it. We've seen it happen, and, obviously pulling for Cary, local team, but it's not going to be an easy road. That's for sure.
Yep. Veteran coach Marilee Sears. She has won a lot of big games in the postseason. I wouldn't bet against that. Fairly new coach at Tri-Valley. So we'll see how it shakes out, but yes, that's where we're at, Scott. We are 1 day away from knowing, 2 days away from knowing the official state tournament matchups. We can guess pretty much what they're going to be at this point. I've been doing a bracketology update every single day on IdahoSports.com, and anybody who's been following that knows pretty much how the matchups are going to go. And the next time we are on together, Scott, will be Monday night for our girls basketball state tournament preview special. That's right. We will spend 90 minutes dissecting every state tournament, 15 minutes for each classification, starting with 6A, moving our way down to 1A. That is going to be at 7 o'clock Monday night, live on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, and X account. So, Scott, we'll be chopping it up around 7:15 Monday night to talk about those 5A state tournament brackets. Yeah,
looking forward to it. It's always the best time of year. I love kind of diving right back in and let's go and call state tournaments. And that 5A one is going to be pretty good. There's a couple of really good teams in there that we need to talk about. I'm looking forward to that on Monday.
Yeah, Skyline got boat raced by Blackfoot in their district championship last night. Now the Grizzlies got to win a game tomorrow against Hillcrest, or we may be deprived of seeing the best player in the state, Shea Shippen, not at state. That'd be a bummer.
And that is huge. I mean, that is not just huge for their school, but I mean, that's good. I mean, for her to get out there, and not that she's not noticed, but man, that's just more, feathers in your cap when you go to play at a state tournament.
Yep.
So we hope to see her there.
For sure. In terms of the Magic Valley Prepcast, Scott, the next time you and I sit down to do a show, just the two of us, will be after all of the winter sports have concluded, because we'll have our girls state tournament preview special next week. And then the week after that, we'll do our special Matt Chat Prepcast where we preview the state wrestling tournaments, and I will just drop that episode into the Magic Valley Prepcast feed. And then in 3 weeks, we'll do our boys basketball state tournament preview specials. So we'll have all of these kind of state preview specials as placeholders. And then you and I will come back for a really long show to talk about all of the winter championships in like a month. So
looking forward to it. It's a busy time.
Yep, for sure. Couple of shout outs before we go here, Scott. Here's Brandy Harris Hennifer. Go Carrie. There's a Hennifer or two on the Carrie girls team. I know that. And then here is our guy, Nick 3 in the house. How about them Tigers? Moho. Yes.
Moho.
We'll see.
Moho. They're good. They can battle. They can shoot. They've got 4 girls out there that will just jack it up from anywhere. And if that team gets hot, they'll beat anybody at the state tournament. So it's going to be a fun one.
And one quick caveat. Sorry, Scott. Hey, as long as Jerome's there too, it's all gravy. So.
Yeah, and I would just hate to have that be a first round matchup, but it very well could be. So we'll see.
That's the way it goes. All right, Scott. Enjoy senior night. Enjoy Valentine's Day. Get your loved one something nice since you're not able to.
Flowers are right over there.
All right. Sounds like a winning formula. So, okay.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I can BS my way through this and get out of the doghouse.
For sure. Well, happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there celebrating, or Singles Awareness Day if you're not hooked up with somebody. Good luck out there if you are. For Scott Burton, I'm Brandon Baney. Thanks for tuning into the Magic Valley Prepcast, everybody, on IdahoSports.com.